Um, hey everyone, today I thought I'd make a 2D game, 2D series. So, let's just jump right into it, I guess. First thing I'm gonna do is let's make the map. Whoops, I clicked the wrong button. Alright, first we'll make we want a platform, obviously. So we're gonna make that here. And go ahead and group these as a model. Just name it ground, I guess. And grab new spawn. Just place it here. Yeah, just make sure it's make sure they're all both anchored. That could cause some trouble. Have this in the middle. I'll actually make this a bit longer. Alright, now that we have our platform, what we'll do is actually have side as well. So now we have our platform. We can get to coding. We're going to start with our camera. Since it's 2D, our camera will need to be like to the side. Alright, so we'll do is add a local script inside starter player scripts and just rename this to camera. And we'll have our services here, any variables there. So service we need to get is user input service. Game equals get service, user input service. Next, we need to get the players. So player, or actually, we'll just say local. Get service players dot local player, and we'll need the camera. So and then need a character. So we'll need to wait for the character to load up. That does is it basically, I believe it waits for the character to load, and then we need to wait for the human boot part. Right, and here's where we begin our main stuff. So we need to change the camera subject to the human group part. We need to change the camera type to custom. So camera Wait, how does this go again? Equal enum dot camera type dot custom. And also make, this is sort of your choice, but I'll make the field of view 40. And let's go. So we'll need a run service for this, obviously. So go back up to services and add a run service. Game, go and get service, run service, run service, serve. So run service dot, we'll turn this to a function. Actually, so local function update. If player dot character, so the player dot character and player dot character dot find first child humanoid part, then local player position equals player dot, so we'll need to get the player position first. So player dot character dot humanoid part dot position. Then we'll need to get the camera position. The camera position is basically going to be the player position plus the camera's position, or plus the offset, which we need to do. So go back up here and write local offset equals vector 3.new, and I believe this should be just fine. 40, and then equals player plus offset. Now camera dot coordinated frame equals C frame dot new camera position, player position, and that should be the script done. So now if we test this, we should be at side angle. What the hell? We should be at a side angle.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no.
Oh yeah. Oh, I always forget. You need to actually call the function. So down here, right, run service, we'll bind to render step camera enum dot render priority camera dot value update. Basically, just that calls this function to a bind to render step, which is the string, the priority number, and the add function. So now if we play it, we should be there we go. And I can't move my camera. I don't know. However, I can go forward and backward. So we'll need to fix that problem. We'll need to add another script inside starter player scripts. Rename this player controls. Now create some variables. So local player equals game.players game get service players dot local player we'll add the services first. We'll need one service again. So service game get service or one service, and we'll need multiple context action service. And down here are the variables. So then we'll need so the player will only be able to jump and left or right. So left value, right value equals 0, 0. Local function. So yeah. So I should probably explain the way we're gonna find out if the player is jumping, because we're rewriting the control scripts for the player. We want to know jumping is a matter of a boolean, which is either true or false. It's either jumping or he's not jumping. Now the left or right value will be controlled by either if they're 1 or 0. 1 meaning the left value, he's walking to the left, or right, he's either walking to the right. So if it's 1, he's looking to the left. If this is 1, he's going to the right. And so now we're gonna start with the left first. So we're gonna say full function on left action name and input state. I'm gonna say if input state equals enum dot user input state dot begin then left value equals 1. Else if input state equals enum dot input state input state dot end then left value equals 0. What this is saying, if he's pressed the input which we're going to bind to is A, the letter A on the keyboard, if it's being pressed begin, then the left value will equal to 1, which later on will write a loop that checks if it's 1 or not. If it's 0, it's 0, player isn't moving at all. Now let's write the right one. Function on right. It's basically the same, so we'll just need to change this to right and change these two to right as well. Right value. So now the jump function. The jump function will be a matter of true or false. So we'll jump equals same thing, action name, input state. Except this time, if input state the state begin, we'll set it to false. So jumping equals for this one it was true because it began to press the button. Else if input state equals enum dot input date dot end, then jumping equals false. So now we need to update all this. We'll need to make a loop that checks for everything and updates it all. So add another function, call it update. And then we'll say if, first of all, we'll check if the player is in the game. So player.character and player.character. Go and find first child, humanoid part. Then if jumping, we'll check if it's jumping. If he's jumping, then player.character dot humanoid dot jump equals true. There is a parameter in the humanoid called jump, which basically, if it's true, the player jumps, and we can manually make the player jump if we set it to true. Anyways, go below that if statement and write local move direction. So now we'll start to work on the right or left values. We'll say move direction equals right value minus the left value. We're subtracting the both values each other. That's how you get the direction he's moving in. And then we'll say player.character humanoid move vector3 dot new move direction 0 in the z, 0 in the y, and false. So now that you have all that, we'll need to call all the functions, basically updating them all together. So we'll write run service and bind to render step. We'll name it control. Then num dot looks at the priority dot render priority dot input dot value update. Now we'll use the last service, which we have in down context action service. This is basically like a different form of a user input service, except it's, I suppose you could say it's it depends what you use it for, what the situation is. So context action service bind action with this service you can bind and unbind actions. So which I suppose you could do the user input service, except you'd have to add more script to that to make it work. So we'll name this one left. Then on left is the function. And for this purpose, I'm not going to add a mobile button. So I'll say false. Then I'll place the button that I want to use. Next, context action service called bind action right on right false, and then D is my right button. Last one we have is jump. So bind action jump on jump false, and for this block, right enum dot that key code space, because you can't just type in space, obviously. Okay, and that should be it for the player controls. So now if you play the game and don't get any errors, we should be working just fine, as you can see. Ooh. Oh, there we go. I can still run backward and forward though. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's one thing you need to do. You want to go into, so when I play the game, you want to go into your player and delete your, I forgot where it is. Go to player and delete your, here, go into, actually don't go into player, go into starter player scripts and delete, yeah, go into player module and delete the control module. So if you delete that, you should see that I can only move left and right. I'm pressing the W and S, the backward and forward key, but I cannot go in those directions. Then I'm stuck in this O2D space. So yeah, with that, you should be able to get started on whatever you're trying to make. This should be all that you need. But if you have anything, okay, so if you want me to add on to this 2D game, or if you have any questions on how to do a certain thing related to this 2D video, then yeah, please comment down. I'll try to get back to you as fast as I can. But I might yeah. And to be honest, I might make a part 2 and add on to this myself. So be ready for that. Like next half a year. That's when you'll see me. 6 months from now. Anyways, hope you enjoyed and learned something new from this video. I'll see you in like 6 months.